go.
Alrighty.
All right, we're back. Yeah, we're back for another
one more.
All right, I have not had this beer, so I'm going into it cold as well. Let's see what we got here. This is a Witbier.
What's that mean?
It's a wheat beer basically. Wheat beer brewed with citrus peels. Okay.
This sounds like shit.
So, so it's gonna be and spices, by the way.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I'm not going to give you any more info until you get to try it.
KFC of beers.
Wow. This feels very artisanal because this is a sticker they put on the can.
Oh, garage.
This is a garage brew. This
That's
is
good.
by Radiant Beer Company.
Hey, good.
It's light.
It is light.
Yeah.
That's something.
That's sweet beer.
It's a wheat beer. I don't know if you're
It kind of
familiar with
smells
it.
like bread.
You might like this to a certain extent. It's just not going to be as sweet as what you've had in the past.
Okay.
This is a blank slate wit beer.
Great. Let's get this over
Look
with.
at the little. There's a tiny print on here. Sending out light.
Yeah, it's radiant. That's what that means.
It's a sub of the Radiant Beer Company.
Because they haven't been bought by
Yeah, let's see.
Anheuser-Busch.
Beer Company in what city?
Anacrime?
Yes, Anacrime.
Wonderful. Everybody loves the mouse.
Okay, so marginal head, a little bit of carbonation.
It smells like bread.
It does kind of smell like bread. Well, it's a wheat beer, but
That should be malt.
It tastes like bread.
no, not really. It's not that malty.
It's got a breadiness to it.
A little bit.
Or bread.
It's beer.
It's beer. It's a wheat beer. It's actually less.
It still is?
But I mean, I thought it would be. You know
Not a
how
lager now?
wheat beers to me tend to be a little bit more cloudy, a little bit more body. This is pretty light, and the citrus is really subtle. I barely taste any citrus.
I'm going to say I got a little citrus on the second sip. And
Yeah, me too.
Is it more on the nose?
It could be more like lemon or lime or citrusy, as opposed to just like when you think it's when you think of citrus, you think like a blood orange or something.
pour a Sprite into it. It might be better.
It's nice.
I'll-
It's not that interesting to me. It's a nice summery beer.
It's a 7.
I give it a 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You agree on one.
It's not
I've
horrible.
been hitting pretty good for
It's
you.
not horrible, but it's... You probably won't see me take
It's
another
1 out of
sip.
10. A 5 would be average. This is up there.
Yeah,
It's been up there.
it's better than some, not as good as others, but by no means blowing anybody's socks off.
No, but I think it's not offensive at the same time. Like if you just want to have a nice beer, maybe summertime, you're having a barbecue, you're out near the pool. It's
No
just
one
nice
is
time.
accusing you of being an alcoholic if you're drinking those.
Right. And if you like lagers, but you want to keep it light, maybe you want an alternative to a lager or pilsner or something like that, and you don't want to just like, oh, give me a Budweiser. Like this is a legitimate offer.
I still don't know what a Pilsner is.
It's a lighter version of a lager, kinda.
Isn't that what that is?
No, this is a wheat beer.
Cool.
Yeah.
This
It's the way it's brewed and everything is completely
I just
different.
got mountain bikes straight, so
Okay. Anyway,
there's
so
a lot of categories of beer.
since there's a marginal difference.
Ooh, was that
Oh,
marginal?
alcohol content.
Oh, God.
What do you think?
How
this-
could we possibly
I
forget?
know, that's the most important thing.
I'm going 5.
You were spot on.
Wow.
You nailed
Ding,
it.
ding, ding.
You've been running on a roll.
Pretty
good.
Silver.
Yeah.
I
Some
do
people
not
can-
know what the IBUs are. If I were to guess,
Probably super low.
it's
30.
probably really, really low.
Like 30.
Probably.
Let's see.
What's it called again? Blank slate?
Yes.
Would it be on here?
I don't know.
IBO is usually not on there.
Oh, wow. I did 5.0 on the nose.
For the alcohol content, yeah.
There's no...
Usually the IBU isn't on the can.
Yeah.
You might have to go to their website or something, and even then, you might.
I'm not that motivated.
Neither am I.
Yep.
I would drink this again, though. It's nice.
can have the rest of mine.
All right. Marginal gains in cycling.
Okay. What do we want to talk about? If,
You know, I think
they're bullshit or not, or...
surprisingly, it's across the board in I think every discipline of cycling.
0 IBUs.
No.
Literally zero. Somebody just looked it up for us.
Put 0 hops in
Our
it.
producer looked it up. Yeah.
Oh, because it's wheat.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I mean, some people put a little bit in there.
Because so if it's a wheat beer, it's made with wheat, not hops.
No, hops.
No, hops is an additive to give it more shelf life and
Shitty taste.
well, it's like giving it a balance. You want some bitterness to offset it, so it's not just sweet.
Oh, so the hops make beer taste like shit I don't like.
Yes.
Nice. Okay.
Well, there's an extreme like IPAs. They are like a good thing's even better if you add more, and I'm like, no, it's not.
lawn clippings.
Yes, no line of
It
clippings.
just adds different flavors to it.
And it does give it more. It's kind of a natural preservative too.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, marginal gains.
Yeah.
Let's talk about. I don't know. What does it mean? I mean, it's getting ridiculous because now in modern cycling, especially racing, marginal gains is all the rage among like the pro teams.
Well, I think we've just got to a point with bikes where you're not going to find a big,
Difference.
earth-shattering difference.
Yeah.
It's still a bike.
Yeah. I mean, to me, when they started like routing all the cables internally and everything, that was like a marginal gain. But I mean, when they did it initially,
Big
it
fan.
was a big pain in the butt. Now thank God they've kind of figured it out. Because before it was like to replace a cable, you had to hold or if you wanted to raise or lower your stem.
Still same. Still pain in the ass.
Well,
When you build the bike, you just shove a bunch of extra hose in the frame.
No. But
Then it doesn't rattle.
if you want to raise or lower your stem,
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
I mean, now they make them like U-shaped, so you can pull them around the cables and
You
everything.
get a D shape. Yeah.
Yeah, but before it was like a round cylinder, and you're just like, I got to start all over again if I want to raise it this much, which is a pain in the butt. So thank God that I don't know why they couldn't come out swinging with that stupid feature.
How frequently do you change your stem?
I don't.
Really
I mean, a new
I'm
bike-
really glad they've fixed that feature. So.
No, but I mean, when you're building a bike, a lot of times the biggest pain in the ass is kind of getting your bike set up because every bike has its own dimensions and everything, and you think you get it, and then you're like, you know what, I want to try it a little higher until once you have it set, you're good to go. But
That's a
sometimes-
phone, right? That's
Yes.
yours?
Yes.
You have a calculator app?
I know. But no, I tend to try different stuff. I'm not exactly to the point.
You ever seen a geometry chart?
Yeah.
Little
No,
stack
I
and
do
rejection?
I do try different things because sometimes the hoods I'm using are cocked a little different or whatever. Yeah, I'll play with that. And I know some guys like to do it where if they're fitter, they're more flexible, and then they want to slam it, their stem. I play around a little bit. If I'm riding a lot and I'm feeling stronger, I'll slam the front end a little bit more.
I mean, I understand. I mean, so my bike right now, I've got a 10 mil spacer. It's not slammed. Mm-hmm. I could definitely just pull that spacer, run it all the way down, and I probably wouldn't have any issues. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
But if I take
that was a tangent. I just talked about one thing about a marginal gain.
it's pretty fucking marginal.
It's pretty fucking marginal. That's the point.
Yeah. All right. That was a lot of marginal gains because we just talked about integrated bars and stems, internal cable routing,
Right.
which by nature of all of that is also the integrated bar / stems.
Well, I remember
one
too,
piece.
like when the cables came out from the hoods, and then you had to route them and everything. A lot of times in order to run them on the bars or internally and everything, they took like these crazy kinks and everything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and there's still a little bit of that going on, but not
So I'm
really.
lucky that when I got into road cycling, there was no cable.
You didn't have to deal with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember when I got into it, it was like the cables were always under the bar tape.
Right. They didn't run them in the bar.
So that it wasn't too ugly.
They'd route it like this, and then underneath, and then they'd wrap everything around it. Yeah.
Yeah, or all the like. I remember when I built my I used to have a Bianchi XR4 rim brake bike. I remember when I did it, I had to take a lot of care to make sure I shrink tubed everything together to get them all. Everything for it was clean, and you didn't have like a Di2 wire here. You know, a brake outer.
Right.
All that shit.
Well, I remember also too, in same kind of thing. In order to get another marginal gain, like you went with like some frames would have kind of like these when it was rim brake, they'd have like behind the fork, it'd have its own integrated
under the bottom
V.
bracket.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
That shit was dumb.
It was really dumb.
Because your brake would fill up with road shit.
Yeah.
And then not work.
Right. Yeah.
We love non-functional
brakes.
brakes.
Stupid. Or they're just not as powerful because they went with their own proprietary design, and adjusting them is a nightmare. And
so the father of all of this then has to be the campy Delta brake.
Oh, yeah. Which are beautiful, and everybody says they're beautiful, but like they don't work. They don't work. They do not.
But
work.
they look aero.
They look aero. Who knows if they actually were? Yeah. Another thing is okay. Let's move on. How do you feel about aero socks?
I was totally up for it until I saw what the reality of aero socks is like. So TJ, mutual friend of ours. Mike, so what's the deal with aero socks? Because I saw, so Silka has theirs, but that looks like a normal sock that they've just added embroidery to, essentially. And then there was Rule 28, and then Castelli started coming out with some of them. Saw all of those, and I'm like, I really don't want to pay $50 for a pair of socks.
Well, now you can find cheaper options. But
yeah, no, there's cheaper options, but what was... Like, the price of the sock was already offensive to me. It's still a sock.
And the thing is, it doesn't.
But then I found out they're
that great.
shitty because you're wearing a sock that's like a jersey material, but then apparently they don't stay up very well. And
So that's put a rubber gripper.
well,
elastic,
so the rubber gripper
silicone.
wound up being like what the solution was. But I was talking to TJ because he was ordering all sorts of different socks to try and find one that was best. And he's like, "Oh no, what I found out you have to do is you just have to spray your legs with hairspray." And then put the sock on.
I don't do that.
There is no way in hell I'm paying $20 or $50.
I have cheapy aero socks.
Yeah.
And they have like a silicone gripper on the inside, which
Yep.
just feels okay. It doesn't bother me. I get used to it after
Sure.
riding for a half hour.
Say if that.
Yeah, and they're super paper thin, and they're supposed to be aero, and then the rules say they can't go higher than halfway up your...
I'll be damned if I have to go get a can of Aquanet from CVS to keep my fucking...
Yeah, there's no way I'm doing that.
For $50.
Yeah, there's no way.
Absolutely
So dumb.
the fuck not. Now,
I mean, that was a marginal game that started from time trials, and they figured out that, like,
Yeah, no, now you look at a World Tour race, and it is
Standard.
odd to see somebody who's not in an aero
and
sock.
aero
And
sock.
that said, apparently it's like, as far as bang for the buck in terms of aerodynamic improvements, it's one of the best. Still not going to risk having to pay that much money for a sock that I have to spray glue to my leg.
Yeah, that's dumb.
No.
What do they think a watch is like 10 watts, right?
It's quite a bit. It's
It's
significant
more than you
enough.
expect.
I mean, your leg is this big around, and if you make that more aerodynamic,
Sure.
it makes sense. As opposed to, like, I remember, I think
Your
it was
calf has more
Castelli.
frontal area than your
I think
bike
Castelli
does.
did it for a time.
Or your
They
head
actually
does.
had a gusset in the armpit that went like this. So, like, when you're in that tuck position, it was more aero.
Oh, that got outlawed immediately.
Yeah, immediately.
Well, then, okay, so here's another aero accessory, the aero bra.
Oh.
Which isn't a bra, it's more of like it's like sleeves that doesn't have a chest to it. And the idea was because the UCI had banned those textured fabrics.
Oh, yeah.
So
which
what
was
it
a
is-
marginal gain itself.
Yeah, so what they did is they just said, well, if we can't make jerseys out of those,
Oh, yeah.
we'll go ahead and make
Put it underneath
We'll
the
put it
jersey.
underneath it.
And
Yeah.
there's no rule that says you can't wear something underneath a jersey.
Yes.
Yeah, which is a matter of time before our UCI steps in and outlaws that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the most current one, I think the most controversial now that like triathletes are doing it, and I don't know how it pertains to the UCI.
Okay.
They're putting a water bottle down the front of their jersey.
Oh, so that was a big deal at your favorite event, Unbound Gravel. I know you love those.
Love it.
They actually started building.
Like a shape.
No, so they built a water bladder.
Oh yeah, like a camelback.
Yeah, they basically put a one of those bladders in a special pocket in the front, in a skin suit, so that way you can go ahead and basically use, and because you're so slim and trim, you don't have a belly. Now you do for aero performance.
Yeah.
And it's hydration.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, in that case, it's not really well. It's a marginal gain in terms of aerodynamics, but it's a big gain. Well, it depends on your point of view, especially like a bladder. But I mean, a water bottle costs nothing. You have it on hand. You shove it down your jersey.
So try it. I almost said something I should not have said. Triathletes. We're just doing the bottle trick.
Right.
And then that's illegal per the UCI. So what everybody was doing at the tour before they started clamping down on that was if you go to that year's race, Visma and UAE, all their riders had their radios shoved into the front of their jersey for the time trials.
So try to get a little bit of gain.
Yeah. And then eventually I believe they outlawed that as well.
Okay, let's talk about TT helmets, because some of the ones that have been coming out lately have been really... I mean, they've always been crazy in pushing it. The one that goes like this forward, and then how Specialized came out with that one that... Well, they outlawed it already. The one that has like...
the head sock.
The head sock built internally. Oh, my goodness.
Had that weird...
Yeah, it's the Giro, I think it's the Arrowhead 2.
Yeah.
Which I remember seeing that at Sea Otter this year and just being like, wow, it's even dumber in person.
Yeah, because it's like...
Spaceballs one?
Yeah.
Well, I remember, and I don't know why other people didn't use it, because a lot of guys on the track were using the POC helmets that kind of went... They had
the POC Tempor, I think.
Yeah, that kind of fans out like this. I can see it because it kind of fills in this area.
But it really looks like a penis.
And then, I always thought it was like Mushmouth from Fat Albert.
Yeah. Then if you're... It's kind of a newer company, Sweet Protection, if you've heard of them. They're kind of a newer helmet company. They came out with one that's very similar to the POC Tempor, but it has one hole right here, and it is a flared mushroom style.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many endless things that guys... And some people are willing to pay a fortune for that stuff. Like oversized pulleys, aftermarket ones.
I need to go back to helmets on one thing.
Okay, go ahead.
Because
Sorry.
What pisses me off about the helmet thing is, when does it stop being a helmet and start being just an aerodynamic fairing you're putting on your head?
Totally. And where's the safety concerns coming?
Yes.
Because you have this thing that's like this.
Yeah, say you
if you
crash,
fall awkward and yeah, that cannot be good.
I don't care how much MIPS you have.
Yeah.
It's... You're gonna have a
somebody's bypassing some motorcycle impact standards. It's crazy.
Okay, oversized pulley wheels. The fastest way to spend $600 to $1,000 and save 2 watts.
2 watts. It's ridiculous.
Timu it.
Yeah.
Which is funny because there is one oversized pulley wheel system that is apparently actually worse.
Right.
And it is
and you can
expensive.
see through it, I've heard.
Yes, it has.
It's like a
orifice.
donut. And it runs on special bearings that cost a fortune.
Yes, which may or may not be as special as said.
It's ridiculous. So you basically, I mean, I understand certain things that are like...
Now, my take on the oversized pulley wheels is... Okay, let's say it's 2 watts. If you're at a World Tour level and you just need to go as fast as possible, cost be damned, I get it.
Right.
However, if you're over 15% body fat and have an oversized pulley wheel, can we just admit it's bike jewelry?
Yes.
It's just bling.
It is. And they get it. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Because, I mean, it's not like the pulleys are that small where it's really going to make that much of a difference comparison-wise. Like you said, it's 2 watts. I think in the old days maybe there was a bigger difference, but nowadays the pulleys on a Dura-Ace derailleur aren't small.
Now, all that said, will I probably have one eventually? Yes. Am I a massive hypocrite and an idiot? Also, yes. So
you want every little thing you can get.
It's just one of the, I've never tried one.
Right.
So
I have one, but it's definitely a cheap version. It's not like the stupid ones.
I was given a coupon code for a very well-respected company who might be based out of Denmark for one of theirs, and even with the discount, it's really expensive.
Yes.
So
all of that. I mean, the first place you don't really need it. The derailleur itself. I mean, a high-end derailleur already is expensive on the bike without doing anything to it.
Yeah, but the way I lie to myself is I don't want to think about that because that's money I already spent.
Already spent behind. It's in the rearview mirror.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
It's free real estate.
Okay, there's a zillion other.
Wax chain.
Yeah, wax chain. That's a big one.
I fuck with the wax chain.
A lot.
I did.
I do.
I did I dabbled, and I can't say I was deep in it. I dabbled in it, and I go, you know what? This is a lot of pain in the butt for minimal return.
Okay.
2 chains deep.
I have 2 chains. I alternate.
Do you really?
Oh, so I'm so deep in the wax rabbit hole that I actually maintain my dad's bike, 2 of my employees' bikes, and then my 3 bikes.
Okay.
I wax all the chains. So I have my setup at work where, after I think it's like I just have them bring them in like once a month because on the mountain bikes they're not doing water crossings and all sorts of stuff like that. So I just have them bring it in every 120 miles or 100 miles or whatever, and then I'll boil them, run them through another thing of wax, and then
That's a lot of work if you're riding a lot.
Okay, so
And not even his bikes.
and those aren't my bikes. Yeah, I just
Wait.
that's just a perk of working
So
for
if
me.
you're,
You get wax
if you're
chains for
taking
free.
your chain off and on, how
Yeah.
are you doing it? With a master link?
Yeah, quick link.
Okay, that's not the most efficient.
I don't give a shit.
But that's marginal gains.
I do it on company time.
No, I'm talking about the actual master link isn't a good form of connecting a chain. If you have
Tell
multiple,
that to the last 5 people who won the Tour de France.
well, they have one on there, so it's like minimal.
Yeah, I only
So-
have 1 master link.
Yeah, that's true.
Where would I put 2?
Well, some people do it because
Your
they're
new
on.
name 2 chains?
No, because a lot of times people on mountain biking, you break one out in the back country and you fix it with a master link. Next thing you know, they got there. I know some guys that have like 3 on the chain because they're fixing it and
Okay.
they put it on and they just leave it.
Okay, so
So that's the opposite of marginal gains.
yes, that's marginal losses.
Yeah.
So on the chain waxing. So when I first tried chain waxing, it was I went to the Goodwill. I bought myself a crock pot. $5.
Did you actually get paraffin wax, like candle wax?
I got fucking paraffin wax, and then I got whoa shit, what was it? It's a flammable liquid to
While you're doing that, I'm going to pour myself a
no
little
worries.
bit more of this beer.
It wasn't acetone, but it was some sort of shit you don't want to breathe. Hell yeah. Just wipe that off my face. It was some sort of flammable liquid to go ahead and thin the
Gasoline.
wax. Yeah, and I was basically following, somebody had done this big long, like, here's how you do this.
How to thin it out and make
How
it
to
more
thin
viscous.
yeah. And like, here's the, this many parts this to this many parts, and I did
Oh
it.
my gosh.
And I remember when I ran the crock pot and I actually did all the shit, my neighbors from
Smelled
the
it.
next building over were like, hey, what's that smell? And I'm just like, I have no idea, man. And then I was like, to prep the chains, I was using a ultrasonic that was for jewelry cleaning
Oh my gosh.
from Harbor Freight. It was a total fucking nightmare.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can totally imagine.
So when Silka came out with their new wax pot and prep system and all that stuff, I think
you
it
jumped
was,
all over it.
Oh, it was last Christmas. I wound up doing that. So I picked up that. The chain stripper they have works like fucking magic. And then the actual wax melter thing they have comes with a cute little stand, a thing that you put on the chain.
Oh, gotcha.
It's oddly therapeutic. So I just go ahead and deal with it like that. And my thing is,
Oh my god, this story's going on way too long.
it's a great time.
I'm going to cut you off right there. Name your 2 other standout marginal gains real quick.
That I like,
No, it doesn't have to
or
be.
that I don't like.
Opposite spectrums.
Yeah, let's do
Really
one of each.
like
Let's do one of it.
hate.
One you like and one you hate.
Okay, well,
Stupid and smart.
Okay, obviously, I'm
Waxer.
on the chain wax.
Okay, you get a pass on that
So
one.
I'll skip that one.
Unless you have, like, right off the bat, you have something else that's marginal gains that you think about.
I run Continental's new Aero front tire.
Okay.
I
Oh my gosh.
they came out with that at the tour. I saw it.
And you jumped all over that.
No, it took me.
My tires I have on there are great, but you know what? I'm gonna get that Aero tire.
Well, no, so I got a puncture that wouldn't seal, and I'm like,
Okay.
fuck it, why
You
not?
get a little bit of a pass for that.
Yeah, so I did wait, but where it becomes completely unreasonable was I was running skin wall tires, and they only come in black wall. So then I had to buy another tire for the other
You have to
one.
buy a pair.
Yeah, so I had to buy a pair.
Of course
So
you have to do.
yep, because
So I'm going to retract more than half
okay.
for the pass.
If I get a quarter of an understandable,
Okay.
I'm solid. And then the marginal gain I don't like.
That you personally experienced or didn't personally experience?
That I personally experienced. Okay, this one's I haven't experienced is the speed play aero pedals.
Oh, yeah. That's right. I forgot about
Like
those.
one of the big selling points
was
on
to have it
Speedplay-
nice on the bottom and everything.
Well, yeah, but one of the big selling points for Speedplay system was it's two-sided, and
Right.
you just stomp on that bitch and go. Now
You're making one-sided.
it's one-sided.
Yeah.
And
And then you got to make your cleat arrow and everything too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Done.
not fond of that.
Yeah.
Never tried it. Never want to. Happy
Right.
with Shimano at this point. The one I liked. Let's go with the stupid aero tire. But Dino says it's good.
Oh gosh.
All right, how about you? What do you like? What do you not like? With your
An
with your-
easy one for me, not necessarily that easy, is when I went with my TT bike, I went with a big ring in the front in order to get the chain line in the middle of the cassette. So
Okay.
So
I like a quiet drivetrain, so
yeah,
I'm on
and
board.
it's not that hard to do. And I'm not going that fast, so it's not like I have some massive ring in the front.
no, you're just adjusting the gear ratio.
And most time trials are they're flat, so you're not changing that many gears, and so you're wandering 3 or 4 gears. So as long as you stay in that middle,
Yeah.
you're pretty good. So that one was an easy
So
one.
are you running it one by?
No,
Oh, okay.
because no, only because I don't just ride that bike in races. If I did,
Okay.
I'd probably just have a 1x system.
Yeah.
And so I have a little bit more flexibility with that bike, just for riding it around town, my TT bike to practice on and things like that. Anyways,
Say your TT bike to go get groceries.
yeah, no, it's uncomfortable as hell. Another one,
Keep dropping potatoes.
the one I dislike, which I think is funny, is it's kind of hypocritical because I see these like not only arrow socks but arrow shoe covers and everything that go up your leg and everything.
I've heard those are they just wear out in fucking no time.
No, that's not the problem I have with it. Is like you spend all this time and effort into covering your shoes to make an arrow, and then you have like all this bulky like boa and everything on your shoe.
Yeah. I
Like your
remember-
shoe should be slim and like
So it's funny. I remember hearing. I don't remember who did the video, but somebody was talking about the difference in efficiency between a laced shoe for track racing, for TTs, for stuff like that,
versus-
because the actual physical size of the shoe is smaller.
right.
And it
And
intuitively
laces
makes
are
sense.
like pretty flush.
Yeah, exactly.
But you get this big knob, 2 or 3 of them
Yeah.
on a boa system. Plus, usually a boa system, if it's 1 or 2, then it has like a strap that goes over the front of it. Like,
When I remember Trek tried to solve that by putting the boa on the back of the heel.
oh yeah, and then it's a horrible system at that point. Then it's wrapping your heel.
Yeah.
That one is like so dumb because I've seen these people, even in the tour, they put
Yeah.
shoe covers on and everything, and here they have these boa things sticking out and all this, or other stuff, straps and everything, and you're like, that doesn't make any
It's
sense.
funny you say that because I think it was the tour last year or the year before. Somebody had pointed out that one of the teams for all their TT stuff was using non-sponsor correct shoes with sponsor correct shoe covers. They're like, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. There's no boa dials under the shoe cover, but that manufacturer doesn't make
shoes without
make a
boa.
shoe with laces.
Yeah. At least they're figuring that out. But I always just thought that was so, like, how could they not figure that out? Like, it's like you're talking about marginal gains with socks, and then now you're doing a shoe cover and everything. And it's like people are putting it over the most bulky shoe in the world.
I'm surprised nobody's wind tunnel tested sunglasses.
Well, I'm sure they have.
I'm sure they have to have, but I've never seen somebody actually like point that out.
No, I remember, I want to say it was a few years ago, somebody did a side-by-side where helmets had integrated wore sunglasses underneath
Oh,
the
yeah,
helmet,
versus
or
the visor.
or nothing at all. and there was like almost no difference.
Oh, I'm talking about like the difference between different models. So
Right. I'm sure somebody has.
I wasn't sure if that's just it's really personal, so nobody wants to go down that rabbit hole, or.
I'm sure somebody. I mean, somebody.
But we know
had it.
visors are faster, and
Right.
I guess you've got EF riding that new helmet with the visor anyhow. So.
Right. A lot of the teams are now, but I think it took a while. It was ridiculous. Like, it had this big
Looks like
crazy
RoboCop.
fairing and everything, and the thing is open like a parachute.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's wrap this one up.
Yeah, we've wasted
Killed
enough
this
time
one.
here.
Anyways, cheers.
Fine.
We'll see you guys. Oh, like and subscribe, and check us out next time. We're out of here.